Getting into this episode of GH, I like Jax's new office. I do. I like it. It's a nice color. I like the layout, the whole color scheme of it. It's a comfortable looking office, I will say that. I'm not a fan of Curtis snooping around on Jax on behalf of Valentine. I'm not a big fan of that, but he did find some interesting information, I will say that. I'm not surprised that Jax has information on his competition, like Valentine and Cassadine Industries and stuff. I'm not surprised. A lot of businessmen, I'm pretty sure, got files on their competition. Their companies, like the rivals and stuff. Of course they do. They like to be up to date on what's going on with their competition. That's not, suspicious. But what piqued my interest is the folder that he found that had Cassandra Pierce's name on it. Hold up now. Jax, why the hell do you have a file on Cassandra Pierce? I want to know the backstory on that. What's going down with that? You know what I mean? Because we all know Cassandra Pierce ain't no legit businesswoman. We know that. We know everything about her is shady. She's pretty much an international criminal. Why would he have a file on her? Unless either he knows her and did some business with her, or he did some digging on Valentine and found out he was connected to Cassandra, and maybe that's a part of that. Maybe. Who knows? But I'm interested in finding out what the hell is that all about. That's what I want to know. And I'm pretty sure Curtis, of course, is going to tell Valentine that, Jax probably had a folder in there with Cassandra. He's going to report it back to Valentine. And he almost got caught too. But, luckily for him, he put the file and stuff back in the cabinet before Jax came back in. So speaking of Jax, Ava, let me tell you something. Ava, I feel like, did not do the smart thing when she signed that contract. She gave Crimson complete authority over the questions that they can ask her. I was pissed about that because I felt like she should have had Scott read that contract, and she should have had Scott negotiate the contract for her. Because you don't never give an interviewer 100% control over contracts. I've noticed over the years that celebrities, when they do interviews and stuff like that, they pretty much get a list of the questions. They pretty much, before the interview, like days before the interview, they tell the interviewer what they're not going to answer. Like questions that the interviewer can ask and what they can't ask. Ava gave them carte blanche over the questions. I felt like that was a bad business move. You don't do that. You don't give them control over the questions because it's going to be a smear campaign. She thinks that, I'm going in to tell my side of the story. You are. But Jax and them are doing a smear campaign on you because they're going to ask questions that you're not going to want to answer. They're going to ask you about Morgan, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to ask you all these questions that she's probably not going to feel comfortable publicly answering. They're going to ask her questions about Ryan that I feel legally she should not be answering because she's still going through the trial. She has the trial coming up for attempted murder on Ryan. That hasn't been dropped. So she should have made sure that they couldn't ask her certain questions, especially about an ongoing legal matter. But now that you gave them control over the questions, they have the legal right to ask you those questions. But she went to Jax to get because he was supposed to, they were supposed to have a meeting over the questions, about the interview. She had to push the interview back and stuff like that because she has a meeting with a psychic. Jax was looking at her like, what? As soon as she mentioned psychic, he said, because she said something about, she got to have a meeting. She got to meet up with her late daughter. Jax was like, a meet up with your daughter? Yeah, okay. I would have looked at her the same way. If that was me, I would have looked at her the same way. Like, what you been smoking? I feel like she set herself up for a fall because how some of these psychics be, and these people claim that they're psychics. They're just doing it for money. That's all they doing it for. They lie to people who are desperate enough to pay because they want to reach out to a loved one, and they're desperate and stupid enough to pay. Like, it's all a scam at the end of the day. A lot of it be a scam. But, you know, she's hell-bent on getting some type of closure with Kiki or whatever to, you know, speak to her, I guess, one last time. I will say I love Ava, but Ava's a shitty friend to Scott. I'm just saying. She is not that good of a friend. That man came to her as a friend to, you know, lean on her, you know, for a shoulder to cry on, basically. And every time, it's crazy because she basically rushed through that conversation, didn't have no time for him. And you got to think, like, Scott has been there for Ava. He's been there for Julian. Like, he's been there for y'all. Not just as legal counsel, but as a friend, as a shoulder. And the times that he need you, you're not there for him. And her advice to him was, oh, you know, buy some shiny little car or whatever, some red Corvette or something. You know, some type of nice little fancy car, because she think he going through a midlife crisis. That man is over 60 years old. He ain't going through no midlife crisis. His midlife crisis was 20 years ago. He's 20 years past the midlife crisis thing. Like, usually people go through midlife crisis in their mid-40s. That man is about early 60, close to mid-60. He's not going through no midlife crisis. He's in his damn near his twilight years. I definitely don't think it's a midlife crisis thing with Scott. Definitely not. But I did love the conversation that he had with Franco, and, you know, Franco was just telling him, like, you know, grab your happiness in life, you know, hold on to your happiness, find something that makes you happy, basically, you know. And Franco is basically telling him, like, life is full of surprises, you know, because Scott, I think with Scott, he just, you know, he wants what Franco has, you know, he wants what he sees a couple of people have, you know, love, you know, a relationship, somebody that you can share your day with, you know what I'm saying, someone to come home to, you know, have dinner with, you know, he's not looking for companionship, you know, that's not really what he's looking for. He's looking for a life partner, you know what I'm saying, like someone he can go on vacations with, someone to love him and he can love back, you know, like I said, somebody he can come home to, you know what I'm saying, like that's what he wants, and I don't blame him, you know, especially when you're at that age, you know. So basically, Scott went up to Bobbie and basically kept telling her, like, she doesn't have to, you know, fight this diabetes battle alone. She don't have to do anything alone anymore. And he proposed to her. And Bobbie was taken aback by that proposal, because you got to think, like, her and Scott are not a couple. You know, they haven't been a couple in a while. You know, so she was definitely taken aback by his marriage proposal. But I can understand why Scott made the proposal. I think part of him is just lonely. You know, he's a lonely man. He ain't got nobody to come home to. Nobody to cook him dinner. Nobody to share his day with. Nobody to share his life with. You know what I'm saying? To be all romantic with. He ain't got that. And that's what he wants. I believe that's part of the reason he proposed to Bobbie. But I do believe Scott genuinely loves Bobbie and really wants to be with Bobbie. Because think about it. He could have went to Lucy. You know what I'm saying? Of all people. He could have went to her. I mean, she is his ex-wife. He could have went to her and tried to rekindle something. But I think knowing him, he probably figured that she's never going to be over Kevin, and why waste his time? And I don't think he's really in love with Lucy. Bobbie, I do believe that he really deeply cares for Bobbie. And he really does love her. For a moment when he was talking to Ava, and Ava, before Ava cut him off, I think he was under the impression that Ava was finally going to come around to wanting to date him or something. That's the way it seemed in the beginning. I'm like, no, Scott, you and Ava are better off as friends. I do feel like Bobbie is the woman for him. I really do. I always like the chemistry with him and Bobbie. Scott really does still have great chemistry with a lot of his exes. That's the crazy part. And him and Bobbie, I feel like, got the most chemistry still. Like, I really do like him and Bobbie together. And hopefully, I feel like she should say yes to the proposal. Because I feel like they both need some loving, especially at their age, you know. And they need somebody they both could come home to and be with, be happy with, have dinner, have drinks. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, be in love. I feel like that can be the both of them, you know. They can do that together. I love the proposal, you know. It was surprising in a way, but I actually knew it was coming because of spoilers and stuff, so I knew it was coming. But I still was taken aback by it because I'm like, first of all, y'all haven't been a couple in a few years, so it's like it came out of nowhere. But I'm not mad at it though, you know, more vets the better. So anyway, I've grown to really like Liz and Franco as a couple. I really have. I didn't think in the beginning I would, but I do like them. I really do. I like them as a couple. I like the relationship that they have, that they built over the past couple of years. And you could tell Franco really genuinely cares and love for Elizabeth, because a lot of the men that Liz has been with, their heart has never been 100% with her. Majority of their heart has always been with another woman. At least with Franco, she doesn't have to worry about him straying from the nest. You know what I'm saying? Like worrying about his exes or nothing like that. She ain't got to worry about that. Because he's not thinking about Nina or whoever else he dated. He's not thinking about them. He's thinking about Liz. Liz is his world. That's his life. And she finally has a man who's totally committed to her 1,000% and not thinking about another woman. She didn't have that with Jason. Hell, she barely had that with Lucky, because Lucky was running around with Maxie at the time, getting high and everything else. And he even started dating Sam later on. So, you know, she never really had that. A guy who's 1,000% committed to her and 1,000% into her. You know what I'm saying? So for once, really, she has that. You know what I mean? Or somebody who's not a criminal. Well, even though he has criminal tendencies, but he's legit now. So that's all that matters. I can't wait for this reception, though. I can't, because I already know it's going to be some drama. She invited Bobbie and Epiphany, and Bobbie pretty much was like, you know, I might be able to make it. She don't know yet. Bobbie better go ahead and go to that reception. But, yeah, I just like their relationship. I wonder what this painting is that Franco working on that he don't want Liz to see. It's probably a portrait of Liz or something that he want to surprise her with at their reception and stuff like that. I love the conversation between Chase and Finn, though. You know, like Chase pretty much, I love the, you know, how their relationship has evolved since Chase first came on. Because remember when he first came, Finn wanted nothing to do with him. But now he's cool with him. He wants that brotherly relationship with him, which I think is dope. But, you know, he basically needed Finn to talk him off the ledge, basically. Because he really wants to break Willow out of jail at this point. But, you know, he's trying to, you know, do his job and be a boyfriend at the same time. But it's tough, you know, because he really wants to break the law and help her get out of jail. I can't say I blame him, but, you know, he's walking a tightrope on that. So, you know, Finn trying to give him some advice and, you know, help him through it, which I think is dope. We got a glimpse of somebody on the computer booking a plane ticket from Paris to Port Charles. I have a feeling that can be either Hayden, which I'm pretty sure it probably is, Cassandra Pierce, because we did get a couple of mentions of her, plus Jax is, I guess, intertwined with her as well. Or it could be Alex. I'm willing to bet that it's Hayden, definitely. And that's part of the drama that I feel that's going to happen at the wedding reception of Liz and Franco. It's definitely going to be some big drama, and I think Hayden is definitely going to be a big part of that drama. I've seen some promo pictures of her at the Hornet Star talking to Finn. So it's definitely going to be some mess. But I can't wait to get that cleared up, though, so he can find out about his child, hopefully. So anyway, listen, I understand where TJ coming from, but I would hate for him to quit medical school. Honestly, I have to agree with Stella and Jordan that he needs to stay in medical school. I understand he wants to help out, you know, and be his own man and make his own money. And, you know, I get that, but dropping out is not the best thing that he can do. I don't think dropping out is smart. He's a smart kid. He's shown that he's capable. And I would love to see him become a new doctor for the hospital, honestly, because I think they need some new doctors. And we need some more hospital drama. So I would love to see him become a doctor. And I would hate for him to have to quit, you know, because he's obviously been doing a good job so far. So I would hate for him to lose his way. So Aunt Stella did that, you know, that whole Ancestry.com thing where you send your DNA in, they try to match you with long lost relatives and stuff like that. I wonder, apparently she got a match. I wonder who she related to. I was like, it can't be nobody on Canvas, I don't think. Maybe she's related to the Ward family or something, and she never knew. Who knows? I'm interested to find out. Even Epiphany told her that, you know, she might want to do it. You know, she should find out. And then she definitely thinking about it. And I can't blame her. So anyway, moving on from that. I get where Sonny and Carly are coming from. I see both sides of the spectrum. You know, Carly's trying to be realistic about their child's condition. I get it. You know, I totally get where Carly coming from. It's a nerve-wracking thing. You know, it's going to be tough for the child. It's going to be tough for them because they already have an infant child in the house. You know, they dealing with Avery. They're dealing with Jocelyn and her grief. They're dealing with Mike and his Alzheimer's. You know, they got a lot going on. Plus, they got Dev living with them now. It's a lot going on. And this special needs child is going to need a lot of attention. So I definitely agree with Carly on that. And I love the fact that they're having this conversation and she's doing her research on it, but I feel like she is stressing herself out more. But I get where she's coming from, though. I think it is a lot to take on. But I do agree with Sonny, though. You have a lot of families that are in their situation with special needs kids, and they got other kids who, you know, want attention, and they got careers and everything going on. But the difference is Sonny and Carly, like Sonny said, they have the resources. They have the money that a lot of people in their situation don't have. You know what I mean? Like, they can help this child and it could be less stress on them because they have the financial means. It's more stress on people who don't have the financial means to hire the best doctors and specialists and get their kids into the, you know, certain special schools or private schools or whatever that Sonny and Carly can afford to do. They can afford to do that, which takes a lot of the pressure off of them. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's still going to be difficult even with money. Even with the money and resources they have, it's still going to be tough, but it lessens, you know, the stress by a lot. You know, it really does. It lessens the stress tremendously. And I get it, you know, but Carly's sitting there talking about, oh, I don't know if our family can survive this, if she can survive this. You survived way worse than this, Carly. You went through miscarriages. You survived death, almost dying. You survived the loss of a child that you raised for years. You know, you survived that. You survived a lot. So if you can survive the death of a child and all that other stuff, and you can survive a bullet to the head and all this other mess, you can survive this. You can survive this. And you have a big support system. You know what I mean? You can survive it. You know, she definitely can. Sonny can. Y'all can survive it. It's going to be difficult at first, but I think once they get into a rhythm, I think it'll be easier. You know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard, but they can do it. Most definitely they can. You know, I know that it's stressful. You know, it is. But they can definitely do this. You know. They, you know, but you got a lot of help, to say the least. And Jocelyn doesn't need as much attention as Carly thinks she does. Besides, she has another parent who's in town that can, you know, give her even more attention if Carly and Sonny are more busy with the baby. You know what I mean? Like, you have a lot of support. You got Michael. You got support. Jason. You know what I'm saying? You have a support system. You know, so it's not like you have to go through this all by yourself and you don't have the means to go through it, because they do. You know what I mean? Just relax. Take a breath. But I definitely think this is a good story and a story that needs to be told, so I can't wait. So anyway, that's pretty much the episode. Hit the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. I will see y'all all later. Peace.